What's up, Wanderers?
Take 2
Right.
of this episode.
So, we want to go ahead and apologize for any of you guys who may have been at your 4th of July festivities.
And got a notification that a Spooky California episode was posted and it was up for a good 45 minutes before I got the notification. And then I panicked, and I was only on my phone. I wasn't near my laptop. And I was like, how do I change the date of when this is supposed to go out? And I couldn't. So my only choice in that moment was to delete it completely. And I didn't realize that deleted it completely.
Yeah, so we're re-recording. We apologize for your excitement that you guys were getting an early sneak peek.
Yeah.
Not only was that not supposed to drop that day, but it was not even supposed to drop that week.
No, it was 2 weeks later.
Yeah, so here we are recording this a week before you guys are going to hear it.
Yeah.
So if the flow that we had going that night was pretty awesome because there was some spectacular storms going on.
And
it was
but
very
they were
spooky.
cleared up by the time this episode.
Yeah.
You would have heard it last week. But our special guest we had for the initial recording is not here right now. So little cat was here. She meowed a little. It was really cute.
It was very cute.
But alas,
Alas.
she has abandoned us.
But I also want to say I'm proud of us because we made it through recording all 4 of those episodes that night and not one F-bomb was dropped on an episode.
Let's see if we can keep that streak up.
I'm going to try because that word has been flying like none other today. It's been a rough day. It was a Monday for sure.
Yeah.
It was a Monday for sure.
It's the Mondayest of Mondays.
Well, and then we also had that my family's big party that we do every year this past weekend. Not that I got too intoxicated because I really didn't drink a whole lot.
If you were there and you saw me, no,
you didn't see me.
No, you did. But if you saw me leave early, it was because it started raining and I was too stoned and I got freaked out. I got freaked out because I was like, "This is too it's a lot. There's too many people." I was getting claustrophobic, and I looked at Danny and I went, "I gotta go."
We had intended on. There were a couple of our listeners there, and we had intended on taking a picture with them and saying, posting it, letting you guys know, hey, we're hanging out with a couple of our listeners, and having a good time because it was a good time. A good time was had by. I would like to say all.
Oh, yeah. I had an excellent time. I had a great time until it rained. And I got freaked out. Everybody was wet.
It got kind of crazy. It was a lot of people to pack into a small area.
I think if I hadn't have taken that gummy, I would have been fine. I would have been like, I'll just find a seat somewhere. I'll be all right.
Right.
But because I had taken a gummy, I was real confident too. I brought an extra just in case it started wearing off. And when I tell you that I did not stop kind of internally freaking out for hours.
Oh my gosh.
We went to Rivergate and we went to Goodwill because we were looking for stuff to decorate the shop with. And I'm like, I gotta get out of here. I'm getting freaked out. I was like, I gotta go.
Well, you guys missed a good karaoke time. That didn't happen until most everybody left, later on.
It never stopped raining, though, did it?
I mean, it was off and on all day. The storms were off and on. The kids, would get in the pool, and then it would start storming again, so we'd be like, oh, no, back out of the pool.
Right.
And so it was a back and forth thing for a while, but then, after... I want to say it was probably 8 or so is when the storms really quit and the kids were good to go. And so it was just nonstop at that point.
Yeah.
But I say that the kids were starting to get real tired at that point.
Yeah.
But it was a good time. We had fun. I once again proved to myself that I'm not as young as I once was in the form of I literally bent over while we were at Walmart before we even went to this gathering. And I didn't even bend fully at the waist.
Did you do it that same day?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
We were at Walmart I was bending over to pick up that box of the little Hugs drinks for the kids.
Yeah, because Maddie went, She was just picking up hugs.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't even like pick them up.
Wait till you're in your 30s.
I didn't even fully bend at the waist, and my back was like, good luck with that. And
you thought you were gonna have fun today?
Yeah,
you thought.
I was like, really? I can't even like. This is twice within this year. Like, I did it in January, and I was literally just walking through my kitchen when it happened. I got up out of bed. I was walking through the kitchen to go to the bathroom for the first time for the day, and my back was like, ha ha, just kidding.
Right.
And so then this time, I barely even bent at the waist, and my back was like, guess what, girl? No. So it's time for you, girl, to get back in the gym and strengthen that core.
Yeah.
It's got to do something with my hip, I'm sure, but like we're gonna try everything we can before we get the medical professionals involved.
Right.
But so anyway,
anywho, Spooky California is what we're speaking about today,
and we've had time to kind of revisit, go back through, and maybe give y'all a little bit more information than what you would have gotten in the first place.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot, because I sure as shit
I know how to pronounce one of the names.
Oh, look at you.
Look at that. I remember that.
Look at you.
So.
Will it sound as Caucasian as it was?
Probably. Because, like, I'm 99% Caucasian.
99.9999.
No.
Oh.
99. Because I'm 1% Nigerian.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But the rest of me, Caucasian.
I mean, I'm Caucasian.
That 1% is like what has all the seasonings in the kitchen. But the 99% is why I don't like hot sauce.
That 1% is what got you invited to the cookout.
That's true. I did.
You
I did get invited to the
cookout.
It was amazing.
I was told one time I was invited to the cookout, but I had to bring plates and or dinner rolls.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, that's fine. I'll take it as long as I'm involved. Anyway.
Anywho. So, the Winchester Mystery House is my first on deck. Once the personal residence of Sarah Lockwood Pardee Winchester... Oh, my microphone. That's the second time. The microphones are trying to, like, jump off the table tonight.
We had spooky stuff going on in the house the first time we recorded. And so I think that the house visitors decided that they were going to make another appearance tonight just to keep it going.
Because her mic earlier, before we started recording, literally flew off the desk.
It really did.
Okay. So, once the personal residence of Sarah Lockwood Pardee Winchester, the widow of William Wirt Winchester, and heiress to a large portion of the Winchester Repeating Arms fortune, the Winchester Mystery House sits in San Jose, California, and is a true architectural wonder and historic landmark. Tragedies seemed to follow Sarah as her infant daughter died of a childhood illness, and then a few years later her husband was taken from her by tuberculosis. Shortly after her husband's death, Sarah left their home in New Haven, Connecticut, and moved out west to San Jose, California, which, from her book that she's going to read from throughout the episode, said that she had gone to a psychic, and the psychic, like, connected her to her husband, and her husband told her to go out west and look for a home. There, she purchased an 8-room farmhouse and began what can only be described as the world's longest home renovation, which only ceased upon Sarah's death on September 5th, 1922. The home that was so beloved to her was called Yanada Villa.
There it is. Villa.
Villa?
Yes. Anytime you see
yeah. Oh, the double
L's.
Okay. So, Yanada Villa.
There you go.
Sounds so white. From 1886 to 1922, with construction never ceasing, what was originally an 8-room farmhouse grew to include 24,000 square feet, 10,000 windows, 2,000 doors, 160 rooms, 52 skylights, 47 stairways and fireplaces, 17 chimneys, 13 bathrooms, 6 kitchens, and 2 basements.
Wait, I think that that's what it ended up with. Remember when I was in my book? It said something about, hold on, let me see if I can find it again. It started out 700 rooms, 950 doors, 10,000 windows. And then an earthquake took out the top couple.
Yeah, this is what it grew to include.
Right, got you.
But not all of the doors can be walked through. One leading to an 8-foot drop into a kitchen sink. Another to a 15-foot drop into bushes in the garden below. Staircases leading to ceilings, expensive Tiffany stained glass windows installed in places where there would be no light, and according to Atlas Obscura, more secret passages than Narnia. There is a particularly odd cabinet that, when opened, extends through 30 rooms of the house. This renovation was priced at about $5 million in 1923, which today would be $71 million. I just can't imagine spending that much money on something that crazy.
Right.
Before her passing, there were rumors of a mystery house being built by an eccentric and wealthy woman. No one has ever really known the true reason for Mrs. Winchester demanding constant changes to her very large house, but of course there are stories. The most common story is that Mrs. Winchester was being haunted by the spirits of those killed by the Winchester rifle, which her late husband's company invented. After her husband passed away, a psychic told her that to evade the spirits, she would have to move out west, buy a home, and build nonstop. Some theories say that she believed that as soon as the construction was complete, she would die, while other theories suggest she built the house like a maze in order to keep her paranormal tormentors at bay and lost in the many intricacies of the building. As the theory goes, to avoid them, she would sleep in a different bedroom every night and take labyrinthine paths through her own home. In 1906, a massive earthquake struck the Bay Area and toppled the top 3 stories of the house and damaged 4 other stories. Some say Sarah Winchester took this as a sign from the spirits that she was too close to completion and ordered the unfinished front half of the house to be boarded up. Though it is now open, signs of damage from the earthquake are still clearly visible. In 1922, after the death of Sarah Winchester, her beloved Yanata Villa is sold. And in April of 1923, John and Mamie Brown lease Yanata Villa and its remaining grounds and move their family onto the estate. They plan to create a park featuring Backety Back Railway, which that name just gives me a little giggle. One of the earliest known wooden roller coasters, designed and initially built by John as an amusement park in Canada. Due to local restrictions and overwhelming public interest in the house itself, they shifted their focus to opening the house to the public, and the roller coaster was never built. And on June 30th, 2023, the day we originally recorded this episode,
right,
the Winchester Mystery House celebrated 100 years of tours and over 12 million guests. Which also, fun fact, Mamie Brown was the first tour guide of the Winchester Mystery House.
Funny story about whenever we recorded this the first time, you said, that on that day, 100 year, it had been the 100 year. As she was saying this, I'm hearing noises from the other end of the house.
And it was just us and the cats here.
Right. And so, and like we said earlier, it was like raining and storming and stuff that night. Things were exceptionally spooky here that night. We've discussed in earlier episodes that, we're not alone here.
Yeah.
Ever. And so I'm hearing things on the other end of the house. And so I hear it. I react to it. I turn and look at her as she's reading this. She thinks I'm reacting to the fact that it was the 100-year anniversary of it that day.
Right.
And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, you heard it too?
And I was like, no.
I was like, oh, my bad.
All right. Am I going next or are you going next?
No, you're good.
Okay.
I'll do mine after.
Hotel del Coronado is next. In 1892, a young woman named Kate Morgan checked into Hotel del Coronado and never checked out. It is thought that her gentle spirit remains as the resort's resident ghost. At the age of 24, Kate Morgan arrived on Thanksgiving Day in 1892 and seemed to be very unhappy and alone. According to hotel employees, she said she was waiting for a gentleman to join her, and after 5 days of waiting, Kate took her own life. At the time of her death, police could find nothing that could positively identify her, and a description of Kate was telegraphed to police agencies around the country. As a result, Kate was labeled as the beautiful stranger by newspapers. After Kate's identity was confirmed, it was determined that she was married but estranged from her husband, and it was thought she was meeting a lover at the hotel. Kate had been employed as a domestic in a wealthy Los Angeles household, and from there she traveled by train to the hotel where fellow passengers reported that a woman matching Kate's description had argued with a male companion who then deserted her. During her stay at the Hotel del Coronado, Kate was described as sickly and sorrowful and only ventured into San Diego to buy a handgun. Later, the San Diego coroner would confirm that she had died by a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Since the time of her death, guests and employees have attested to ghostly goings-on. Most of the reports have to do with Kate's original third-floor guest room. Visitors have experienced flickering lights, a television that turns itself on and off, breezes coming from seemingly nowhere, unexplainable scents and sounds, items moving on their own, doors that randomly open and close, abrupt changes in room temperature, and unexplained footsteps and voices. Kate's story continues to intrigue hotel visitors, and the room she stayed in is the most requested guest room at the hotel. There have been some independent paranormal researchers who have documented supernatural activity in Kate's room using their high-tech devices, such as infrared cameras, night vision, goggles. Can you imagine a little ghost hunter in there? Like Zach Bagans just in in night vision goggles.
Screaming at her the whole time. Kate, are you here? Is that you I'm seeing through these goggles? Come at me!
Radiation sensors, toxic chemical indicators, microwave imaging systems, which I would like to know what that is, because all I can picture is somebody walking around with a microwave. And high-frequency sound detectors.
Wait a minute. So,
Zach Bagans, night vision goggles, microwave.
And him hollering, aren't you mad that your husband deserted you? Aren't you mad? Come at me and show me how mad you are. That is some shit that would come straight out of his mouth.
Yeah. Even though she's like the nicest ghost, apparently.
Right. Did I bust out the word at any point? I feel like I did.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't remember.
If I did, I'm sorry.
I already forgot if you did. There have also been sightings of Kate in hotel hallways and along the seashore. Another spot in the hotel that has had much activity witnessed is in the resort's gift shop, which was established in 1888. Visitors and employees routinely witness haunted happenings and giftware mysteriously flying off shelves. Most often, it will fall upright and is always unbroken. And there is an official book that is sold through the hotel's gift shop and is available online called Beautiful Stranger, The Ghost of Kate Morgan and the Hotel del Coronado, which is the official account of her 1892 visit to the hotel and contains a timeline of Kate's hotel activities, a transcription of the coroner's inquest, dozens of newspaper reports about Kate's stay, vintage photos of the hotel, as well as detailed descriptions of paranormal sightings. Somebody touched my foot and it freaked me out.
It's our guest from the first
episode. Is it our guest?
It
Come
is.
Here.
Say hello.
Say hello, little cat. Thank you.
Oh, so I've got some information. If you guys remember, I had read out of a book, The Haunted Places, the National Directory. I'll save you the long name. We're going to link it. Or, at least mention it.
It'll be in the episode notes.
Yeah. So keep in mind, Brittany got all of her information straight from the hotel.
The hotel website.
Keep in mind that different information is going to be in different places. So what this book has to say about it is, at the end of November of 1892, Kate Morgan checked into room 302 of this posh hotel. She was born in 1868 in Dubuque, Iowa. She had married a gambler named Tom Morgan and followed him out west. In October of 1892, Tom wrote to Kate at their home in Visalia, California, and told her that he could no longer live with her. Kate was pregnant and sure her husband would settle down if he knew he was going to be a father. So she traveled to Hotel Coronado, where she registered as Mrs. Lottie Anderson Bernard, and she found her husband in the card room in the arms of another woman. According to the legend, instead of confronting him, she left the hotel and purchased a gun. Alone in her room on Thanksgiving Day, she put the gun to her right temple and pulled the trigger. Rude.
She's over here knocking over my recording.
Why are you being a nuisance now?
What a bad guest.
Right. You don't just come on somebody's set and just start screwing stuff up.
She's like, I do.
Rude. Anyway, so according to the legend, she pulled the trigger on her right temple. However, in 1989, investigation turned up evidence that Tom Morgan murdered his young wife. In any case, her restless ghost wearing a black lace dress has haunted the hotel ever since. At one time, the room was sealed off because so many guests reported unusual disturbances there. Now known as room 3502, it is the scene of unexplained cold spots, gurgling sounds, and footsteps. Both guests and employees have encountered frightful apparitions there. Nearby in room 3505 and in room 3312. In a recent investigation using infrared cameras and computer monitoring equipment, 37 abnormalities were found in temperature, humidity, and magnetic and electronic emissions coming from room 3502. And then the hotel was also featured in the movie Some Like It Hot, which neither one of us knew until we read that today.
Yeah.
Listen, you can't be coming on somebody else's podcast as a guest star and then
interrupted.
Talking over somebody. That's rude.
She's tearing up the set. We might have to get security.
I just flipped her the bird, and that was the response I got.
Little cat. Willow is security, by the way.
She ain't gonna do nothing. She'll come in here causing a stir, and then you'll hear some commotion.
Oh, you'll hear a little cat scream like she has been murdered because Willow likes to chase after her and smack her on the butt.
It's very dramatic.
It's so dramatic. So, Bodie State Historic Park. We have two. She also has something to read about this, and we have two totally different stories.
And I apologize to her in advance because I'm not trying to take over her stuff.
You're totally fine. If you have something to elaborate on, totally cool.
We should totally coordinate this a little better when we do this, and I'll be like, I have stuff. Here's what mine says. You can add it to yours.
It's fine. Bodie State Historic Park. Bodie was established in 1859 and claimed by the State Park Service in 1962, and it lies in the hills east of Yosemite, south of Lake Tahoe, and north of Mono Lake. It's over 15 miles from the nearest town and connected by a narrow winding highway that turns into an unpaved dirt road. When it snows in the winter, this area becomes impassable. In the late 19th century, Bodie was the archetypal gold rush boomtown. The gold and silver found in the hills by a New York prospector, W.S. Bodie, drew people in from across the nation. The town was named after Bodie, but he died in a blizzard before seeing that the town took his name, even though they misspelled it. So he's Bodie with a EY, and they spelled it IE. In its heyday, Bodie must have been a noisy and thriving town with almost 10,000 souls calling it home, and it boasted over 60 saloons. According to park interpreter who works with Bodie Rangers to show people around the strange ghost town, Catherine Jones, gunfights were common. Like most of the towns in the Wild West in the late 1800s, probably didn't have the kind of law that we're used to nowadays. California State Parks maintains Bodie in what they call arrested decay, the rot repaired but not replaced. While some buildings are in almost total ruin, one glance through the windows of some of the better preserved structures reveal interiors that look as though they were just left yesterday. In one family home, the kitchen is stacked with dishes. In the town morgue, wallpaper is peeling in ribbons from the ceiling above empty caskets.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that the first time.
According to Jones, the idea of a curse was from years back when a single park ranger at Bodie apparently invented the notion that misfortune would befall anyone who took something from the park, in hopes that if this idea was started, it would keep people from trying to steal artifacts. Bodie's descent into a ghost town was gradual, with mining continuing up until 1942. But by then, what had once been a crowded, bustling town had faded into an increasing collection of vacant homes. Many of the homes were, and still are, filled with the possessions of those who simply up and left. For many years, Bodie was just a strange, sort of empty town out in the hills where one could wander around and perhaps pick up a freebie or two. Someone once even took a piano from a house, just loaded it into the back of a truck and drove away with it.
Can you imagine? Like, how did no one see that happen?
I have no idea. Even as a state park with staffing, visitors continue to have sticky fingers, and thus the boogeyman story was concocted. Now, curse letters arrive for the Bodie State Historic Park at least once a week. They are usually handwritten and almost always anonymous and with some object in the envelope. I have a few of those. Dear Bodie, I'm sorry that I took this piece of metal from the town. I thought it was all a joke, but it wasn't at all. Things are happening that are very hard to explain. That was one of the letters in 2003. Fair warning for anyone that thinks this is just folklore. My life has never seen such turmoil. Please take my warning and do not remove even a speck of dust. 2002. You can have these godforsaken rocks back. I never had so much rotten luck in my life. Please forgive me for ever testing the curse of Bodie. 2004. Please find enclosed one weather-beaten old shoe. The shoe was removed from Bodie during the month of August 1978. My trail of misfortune is so long and depressing it can't be listed here. Now on display in the Bodie Museum, there are letters ranging from multi-page rambling narratives, one-sentence apologies, and even post-it notes to confess the theft of nails, glass shards, ceramic fragments, coins, flowers, and much more. Some writers claim to have had no clue that taking anything from the state park was forbidden, despite the many signs posted. That reminds me, there's a guy that they do towing in Gatlinburg, and the amount of people who will park directly in front of a no parking sign that says violators will be towed, and then we'll call him and be like, my car got towed. There was no signs. And they were like, man, you parked right in front of it. That channel's so good. Some writers claim to have had no clue that taking any... Okay, I already read that. Some folks experience ghostly apparitions or poltergeist-like disturbances, but for the most part, it seems like bad luck is the primary complaint of thieves. Accidents, auto trouble, job losses, etc. Some report the bad luck beginning on the drive away from Bodie, and others only notice later. One letter from a young person who was so terrified at the thought of removing anything from Bodie that they returned items that their family purchased in the park's gift shop. A child wrote a letter that simply said, "Sorry, I took the glass pieces. I thought they were pretty. My fish died the day after." In 2017, a young woman blamed a rock she took from Bodie for the breakdown of her relationship, as well as the relationship of her parents. Another writer reported losing all of her loved ones to cancer after taking something from Bodie. Staff no longer mentioned the curse because so many people were sending back their cursed items because they thought it would help. By seemingly inventing a curse that haunts a person until they make things right, the staff at Bodie State Park created a whole new problem for themselves. Every single time an item is returned, the staff at Bodie have to treat it as a theft, because it is, and that means they have to file a police report for every single item. And from what I've read, they get at least one letter a day.
Dang.
Jones and her colleagues warn that removing items from the site may not cause you to be cursed, but the removal of these items removes their historical context. It potentially could have come from a prehistoric site, a Native American site, but we don't know because now it's out of context, she says. That's what's unfortunate about this stuff being removed from its true place. Even the piano, which was eventually returned to Bodie after the new owners heard about the curse and blamed it on various health problems, car troubles, etc. It might have once sat in a family's living room or have been played in one of the saloons, but now it sits silent in the town hall. It is in Bodie's own version of collections purgatory, with the staff never knowing its true story. And finally, the last little letter. So sorry for picking these up. I love antiques, and being a Christian, little cat is licking her tail on this bench, and it is making the loudest noise. I love antiques, and being a Christian, I felt so guilty for taking these by Monday. Not to mention, Tuesday we got a flat tire, and my husband hit his head on a rock. And that was from 1998.
Well...
feel free to elaborate, because your story is much more interesting than mine. Mine's like, oh, this shit was made up.
Right. Okay, so my book says, in the late 1870s, Bodie had a population of 10,000, with 70 saloons, 30 mines, 3 breweries, 3 newspapers, several whorehouses, and 1 school. The only residents left are a dozen or so ghosts. A former maid, a heavyset Asian woman who is said to haunt the J.S. Kane house. She likes to pin down sleeping people by sitting on their legs. A mother and her children haunt visitors at the Mendocini house. And an elderly woman in a rocking chair haunts Gregory house. People have heard disembodied voices near Seiler house and the sound of non-existent player piano in the museum. A nosy woman's ghost can sometimes be seen peeking out of the upstairs window of the DeChambeau house. Floor-stomping ghosts haunt the Order of the Oddfellows building. At 4 p.m. in the deserted Bodie graveyard northwest of town, the ghost of a woman is sometimes seen hovering over a man's grave. Numerous reports describe her as wearing a white dress and knitting intently. In the same graveyard, numerous people have seen the Angel of Bodie, a little girl accidentally struck in the head with a pickaxe when she stood too close behind a miner. The old mines are haunted too. In 1902, a runaway mine car hit a pack mule at the 500-foot level of the Standard Mine. The car broke the back of the white mule. Miners shot the animal to put it out of its misery and buried it in an old depleted shaft. Within 2 weeks, miners started hearing the clattering of the dead mule's chains. Some were overcome by the odor of fresh mule droppings. Others saw the ghost of the white mule and refused to work at the 500-foot level. It is said that the phantom white mule still haunts the abandoned mine site. Witnesses tossing rocks down the 1,200-foot lint shaft have heard ghostly voice echo back with, "Hey, you!" The last of the gold diggings was the Lucky Boy mine. When it shut down after World War II, there were only 6 people left in town. One night, in a drunken brawl, one of those remaining residents, named Ed, shot his Indian wife with a shotgun. The blast blew her right breast off, and she eventually died in the hospital in Reno. 3 men and Bodie decided to take justice into their own hands. They tied up Ed and threw him into a creek that ran through the town. They kicked him in the head until he passed out and drowned. 2 months later, the ghost of Ed appeared to each of his murderers and waved his fist in anger.
I mean, he shot a lady's titty off.
Right. I'm just...
Why is he mad?
I just want to say of how proud I am of myself that I read that as right breast instead of...
Titty.
Right. For sure. Within 3 weeks, each of the men died mysteriously. One was found with a huge gash in his head.
Ooh.
Another had a hemorrhage that blew up his head like a balloon. They never found the body of the third man. His skeleton may lie in one of the many
I like it when you do that.
One of the many... I feel like, you know, you've seen like the videos of the cats when they've like eat something cold and they're like doing that whole like waving. That's what I feel like I do. His skeleton may lie in one of the many arid ravines near Bodie, still haunted by Ed's ghost. Shit. This last story you have, I have nothing to further. I have no further evidence.
The Chateau Marmont, constructed at the dawn of the film industry in 1929, the Chateau Marmont remains one of Hollywood's most iconic staples. Chateau in French means castle.
I'm sorry, you say iconic and all I can hear is Shane Dawson. That's iconic!
Chateau in French means castle, and that is exactly what it looks like. A towering white fortress overlooking the city, framed by lush green palm trees and marked by a blazing red neon sign reading Chateau Marmont Hotel. Which, like, if you see, I'll probably post a picture to Instagram or something. I haven't posted in a while, but it's a very, like, once you see it, you know.
You remember when we first started throwing ideas about doing a podcast, and I was like, oh, I'll do the social media aspect of it all.
We suck.
What's Instagram? What's Twitter?
Hey,
I'm the TikTok, Facebook person.
I tried to log into our TikTok the other day because it said we have a message, and I was like,
that's because my cousin keeps sending me TikToks to our
nice
podcast page instead of my personal page.
Nice.
Richie, if you're listening, I don't even know that you listen. If you do, thanks for your support, bro. If not, what are you doing? Anyway, quit sending them to the podcast TikTok.
I saw an email about it, and I was like, oh, I'm going to go check this out. And then it was like, your login's expired. And then I couldn't remember the password. So that tells you how much I've gone on our TikTok.
So it like kicked you out.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. I was like, I haven't changed the password.
No, I haven't been on it in forever. So it was like, you got to log back in. And then I was like, I'm not going to do that. In the 1920s, Hollywood was being swarmed by every young woman hoping to make it big like moths to a flame. To meet the growing demand, the hotel was equipped with 63 rooms, including suites, cottages, and bungalows, a small restaurant, and a cocktail bar. In the 1930s, a cluster of small Spanish cottages, complete with a swimming pool, was built beside the hotel and was later acquired by it in the 1940s. By this time, the hotel had garnered a reputation for being a discreet sanctum for the elite of Hollywood. The golden age of Hollywood was tightly regulated by the Hays Motion Picture Code, which not only controlled how celebrities would behave on screen, but also how they behaved off screen. With so many rules and regulations in place, reputations on the line, the stars needed a place where they could behave badly, and the discreet Chateau Marmont was the perfect spot. President of Columbia Pictures Harry Cohn once said, "If you must get into trouble, do it at the Chateau Marmont." The biggest stars of the day would enjoy themselves there in ways they couldn't anywhere else, divulging in drinking, smoking, partying, and taking part in illicit affairs. The Chateau Marmont has also unfortunately been the site of some celebrity deaths as well. In March of 1982, Saturday Night Live alum and Blues Brothers star John Belushi arrived for a stay at Bungalow Number 3. On Friday, March 5th, Belushi's fitness trainer and part-time bodyguard Bill Wallace arrived at the bungalow to deliver a typewriter and a tape recorder to the actor. Instead, he found him dead. Belushi had succumbed to his years of struggling with addiction and had overdosed on a cocktail of cocaine, heroin, and a speedball at the age of 33, which I'm not the most knowledgeable about substances, but I thought a speedball was a concoction of cocaine and heroin.
I was gonna, literally was going to wait till you finish that sentence and ask you what a speedball was.
I'm almost certain it is.
I want that on my Google search history?
I'll do it.
I got it. What
Okay.
is a speedball drug? I had to specify. That was one of the suggestions.
Oh, okay.
Side effects of speedballing. That's a verb.
We don't need to know that.
Speedball. It's heroin and cocaine.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, I'm not the most knowledgeable, but that's what I figured. Okay, so it wasn't 3 things. It was a speedball. Some claim that Belushi never left the bungalow.
It gives a whole new meaning to I'm rolling. You think that's where that came from?
Maybe. I don't know.
Tripping balls?
Tripping balls. Speedball.
Okay, sorry.
Some claim that Belushi never left the bungalow. Comedian turned politician Al Franken claims to have experienced an encounter with his late friend. According to Franken, who claims to be a skeptic, he arrived at the chateau a week after Belushi died and was staying in the very same bungalow. Franken said that he awoke late at night from a fitful sleep to see the ghostly figure of John Belushi standing over him. "John," he called out. By the time he got his glasses on, Franken said that John had disappeared. But he isn't the only ghost that's set to haunt the Marmont. On January 3rd, 2004, German-American photographer Helmut Newton was driving back to the hotel when he suddenly lost control of his Cadillac and crashed it into the wall of the driveway. He was killed instantly. Many claim that he also decided to stick around the hotel, and long-term guests claim to have seen a man who looks like Newton wandering around by the bungalows looking dazed and confused, and is sometimes seen bleeding. Others have claimed to hear the click of a camera by the pool. Strangest of all, some guests have made complaints of laughter and glasses clinking together late at night, but when security arrives to investigate, no one is around. Perhaps the permanent residents of the Chateau Marmont are just enjoying their extended stay. Which, I always thought I would love to go stay there, but whoever owns it now is turning it into like a private club. And you gotta have lots of money to stay there.
Yep, not me.
No.
Couldn't be me.
Mm-mm.
OnlyFans.
Feet pics. So, that's all I have.
Nice. What does this candle actually smell like?
I don't know. It smells like cinnamon to me. It's like a cinnamony. It's like a
You have
Christmassy.
something almost like cake-like, like vanilla frosting?
Like a Glade thingy over here too.
Okay,
it's like
maybe that's
peachy,
what I'm smelling.
It's like a peachy floral
I
smell.
keep getting a whiff of something that's kind of fruity, but it also kind of smells like vanilla frosting.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of the 2 scents in
Maybe.
this room. Because it very much is giving cake.
Cake. I like cake. I did not have any cake the other night. Not one bit of any of those cakes.
Bobo's cake, and
I'm a little upset that I didn't get none of that.
I should have. I told Danny when I got the car. I said I should have taken that whole little thing. Nobody would have even noticed. There was so much food. There was so much cake.
There was literally
Bobo would have been like, "My cake go."
Right. There was there was plenty of cakes, because there was like 14 different cakes there.
Yeah.
There was cakes left, but literally like no other food left by the end of the night. That I don't know if that's ever happened.
I know, like, by the time I left, that mac and cheese was bomb.
It was.
Like, I don't know who made that, but it was almost gone by the time I left.
It was so good.
The hamburgers were so good. After I took that gummy, I made me a hamburger.
All of it was good to you.
I was standing over there talking to y'all, and then I was like, I'm gonna go make me a hamburger. And then I scurried away.
From what I'm understanding, some of them were like black bean burgers.
Oh, I have no idea.
I think what I got was a black bean burger, and I was like, this tastes weird.
Good too. The barbecue was really good. It was smoked. It was so good.
It was really good. All right, so my portion of it. I got a couple stories. One of these stories I'm really excited about to talk about again because it gets my motor running every time I think about it. But the first one.
Motor running. Head out on the highway.
Looking for adventure. And whatever comes my way. Anyway, the first story I have is from the Borrego Badlands. It's the skeleton ghost of the desert. In the Anza Borrego Desert State Park, located in San Diego, there's an 8-foot skeleton with a glowing lantern in his chest cavity that's been lurking about since the days of mining. Can you imagine? Just like hanging out in the desert, you're just chilling, and you look up and there's like this 8-foot skeleton with a glowing thing in its chest looking at you.
Can you imagine me and that skeleton? You must be so bored. Unless somebody like walks by.
Right. The first account of someone seeing it was a prospector who noticed that his mules were kind of acting weird, so he went to go figure out what the issue was with them. But it is, and he saw it then. It's said that whatever it is protects a hidden interest to the lost Peg Leg mine, which brought hundreds to the area hoping to find the gold that it held. Other accounts state that it's the lost prospector that's looking for the mine. But the massive skeleton has been tracked, chased, shot at, but has never been caught. And in fact, the shots that have been fired at it, good Lord, what's wrong with me? Didn't even get a response. So like people have shot at it, and it just never faced it.
Damn.
The next one is the Los Angeles County Arboretum. This absolutely, and you got to look it up. This absolutely stunning house, it is gorgeous, with 127 acres of land, was once inhabited by pioneers in the early 1800s, and a large population of indigenous people. That word is hard for me to say, indigenous. There we go. But it was inhabited by these people for hundreds of years, because it did have a ton of natural water sources. In 1839, the Hugo Reed adobe was built, but it was sold many, many times until it's purchased by the LA County and state of California to be used as a botanic garden in 1947. The original structure still sits on the land and has been set as a historical landmark in 1940. Hello, Amara.
That is really pretty.
It is gorgeous. The Queen Anne Cottage, which is located within the Arboretum, was built by a wealthy businessman by the name of Elias Jackson Baldwin, also known as Lucky Baldwin, between 1879 and 1886. Guests have reported seeing an apparition of a man who was believed to be Lucky, who died in March of 1909 as a result of tuberculosis, as well as the spirit of a woman believed to be his fourth wife, Lily, who later died from cancer in the house. There's also been reports of disembodied voices and moans. And wait for it. This is the best story of all. It's also been reported that this was once the home to Chief Buffalo Child Long Lance, long name, who was an actor and a writer. It was discovered by another writer that this man was really just a black man posing as a Native American. After this discovery, Long Lance shot himself in the parlor of the home.
Oh.
That's what you get for being a poser.
Right.
The next one, this is the one that gets me.
There's been a lot of movies filmed there.
Has there?
Oh, yeah. Like, starting all the way back to 1936, like the Tarzan Escapes. Even some movies that I've seen, like The Women. I love The Women.
Like, I feel like I read that.
I love that movie. The Lady Eve. Mr. Wrinkle goes to... Oh, Mr. Winkle. That's even funnier than Wrinkle. Goes to war. Best Years of Our Lives was filmed there. A lot of Tarzan movies, which I could see.
For the garden that's there.
Yeah. And, like, they have, like, 251 different types of birds.
Nice.
But yeah, even all the way, like, until 1984.
It's an absolutely gorgeous place. If you guys want to look it up, you know, there's going to be a link for a webpage that I got some of the information from.
Fantasy Island was filmed there.
Nice. There'll be a link from where I got some of this information from. You guys can figure out, you know, where it is, what it's called, and look it up. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Wonder Woman?
Nice. Like the old one?
Yeah. 1975.
What was her name?
Linda.
Why can't I remember this?
Linda.
Google Wonder Woman.
Linda Carter.
That's it. She was gorgeous.
Yes. She still is.
I mean, yes, but...
Knots Landing was filmed there.
I feel like my mom made me watch that. Back in the day. Thanks, Mom.
Dynasty.
So, if that gives you any indication of how beautiful this place is. Yeah. Okay. So, the next one. This is the one that gets my motor running. Because it's crazy to me. Pioneer Village. Witnesses have seen children's birthday parties replay in the wheelhouse and ghostly children play at recess in front of the 1882 Norris School building. If y'all hear some commotion. Okay, I started to say there was 2 cats entering the room and it wasn't going to be a good idea. One of them decided to leave. But can you imagine just like walking and then you look in a room and there's like a bunch of ghost kids having a birthday party?
Nope.
Or like playing on a playground. I want to see it. I don't. Hold on. Because I almost busted out the F-bomb. I don't mess with kid ghosts.
So you just want to see them.
Oh man. How come? Because it's no. Like the residual. Like they're just playing in a loop.
Too much.
It's I would love it. But it's also reported that there's a ghostly teacher still teaching those babies and writing on the blackboard. Laura, as the... What is she doing?
She's rolling all over the top of your flip-flop, being a nasty little freak.
It's fine. How you doing?
You got foot fetish tomorrow?
Hey, I don't give that up for free.
Nasty.
Anyway, the distinct sound of chalk tapping on the board has been heard. That's a very distinct sound. Like, I can hear it. I can feel it in my teeth, actually.
Yeah, I don't like that.
A local radio station actually conducted investigations there in 1992 and discovered a source of psychic energy in the basement storage room where there are Native American artifacts being stored.
See, this is why I don't like basements.
The next one, the Agua Caliente Springs. In the Tierra Blanco Canyon, several witnesses have seen a Viking ship emerging from the side of the mountain. In the 1800s, stories of this spectral ship began to weave their way into Southern California. Around the time, post-Civil War migrants would pass through the desert and report that they had seen the ship. There were many expeditions to find the ship, but none prevailed. There were claims that this was Noah's Ark, and others claimed that it was loaded with glorious treasures. Legends of the Seri and Mayos Indian tribes say that visitors arrived on a boat with a head like a snake. According to the legend, the ship had traveled all the way around Canada, through the Arctic Circle, and down the west coast. these quote-unquote come from faraway men all had yellow beards and hair and were accompanied by red-haired women. Sounds like Vikings to me. Mm-hmm. Even today, the Mayas will produce children that have blue eyes and blonde hair. The Baja Gulf once ran into the valley, connecting the valley to the ocean. The last noted sighting of the ship occurred in 1933 when a massive earthquake shook the area. Lewis and Myrtle Botts from Julian, California were instructed by a strange prospector that they had only met the night before. Were instructed by the strange prospector that they had only met the night before that he had stumbled upon the forward half of the ship hanging out of the mountain. Shortly after they discovered it, before they could document finding any, document what they had found in any positive way, taking pictures or whatever, the earthquake covered up the protruding ship. But how cool would that be? Just to, find a random Viking ship,
That would be cool.
I mean, it'd be really cool for me because,
I saw today on Facebook where in Rome, some construction workers found a marble statue head.
Mm-hmm.
It looked pretty cool.
Should they have dug that up?
I don't know, probably not.
Probably not. We don't dig things up, guys. Leave them where they lie. So the next, I've got the Falcon's Lair. And I do think that this is mentioned
in the next episode, yeah.
But
I just briefly touch on it.
Right. The ghost of Rudolph Valentino lingers in his former mansion. He lived there only a year before he died of peritonitis on August 24th of 1926. What did we establish that was?
Complications from an ulcer.
That's it. The 31-year-old actor's funeral was accompanied by mass hysteria and suicides. As it turned out, even Valentino couldn't believe that he was dead. Actor Harry Carey was one of several subsequent owners who encountered the Silent Star's ghost. Millicent Rogers spent only one night in the house before being chased out by Valentino's specter. His apparition has appeared in the darkened corridors, his old bedroom, and in the stables where his beloved horse was kept. One stable worker promptly walked out the front gate and never returned after seeing the master's ghost petting his horse. Passers-by have reported Valentino's dark silhouette looking out over the Los Angeles skyline from his favorite window on the second floor of the mansion. His ex-wife, Natasha Rambova, claimed to be in contact with his spirit for many years after his death. What is life at
it's
this
late
point?
On a Monday.
God, yes, it is definitely a Monday. And you guys will hear more about that next week.
Yes. Also, fun fact, because I know I didn't touch on it in the next episode. So, after Valentino died, there was a woman in black that would visit his grave. Let me quick pull that up. The woman in black.
Did you guys catch how many backspaces there were in that? Because I did.
So yeah, he died in 1926. And that is not right. So yes, on the anniversary of his death, a woman in black was seen coming to his grave for 30 years. And it was claimed to be Dietra Flame, but she died in 1996. She was 14 years old when Valentino died. And she would place a red rose at his grave every time she would visit. But there are other women who have taken it up. And so, even though it's been 92 years since he died, it's a tribute that still continues. So, I just wanted to throw that fun fact in there.
Nice. I'm sorry,
because it was kind of creepy.
Did I read? I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to recollect of what I actually read this last one and what I didn't. The Harlow House. Did I save it for the next week's episode?
I think so. Because I know I talked about it a little bit in the next episode.
Okay. So we won't tell that one. All right. The next one, the Gaynor House. I do remember talking about this one because this one would be cool as hell.
Yeah.
Ghostly maid dusts the chandeliers in Mitzi Gaynor's home. Mitzi and her husband, Jack Bean, first encountered the ghost in 1989. They called the spirit Mrs. Walker. After a previous owner who had died in the house, Mrs. Walker is obsessed with cleaning and often dusts things that other maids have missed. The tinkling of crystal chandeliers can be heard as ghosts clean them, and 2 chandeliers have fallen from the ceiling for no apparent reason. Recently, as recent as this book is, a maid quit when she saw a stack of pillowcases rise up and fly around the room. Mm-mm. Can I get... Where do you sign up to get a maid ghost? Can I get one of those?
I'm good.
I'll take it.
I'd rather do it myself.
If I gotta have a ghost...
But you got like a bunch of kids.
If I got to have a ghost, give me a maid.
Yeah.
If she wants to spend her eternity cleaning, girl, listen, I got all the dust.
Same. I don't dust.
I never dust.
I got too many little tchotchkes to move.
Tchotchkes. I love that word.
So, too many little knickknacks. I ain't moving all that to dust. It'll be dusty until I decide to dust it.
You know who Tchotchke is?
Tchotchke?
Yeah.
No.
Isn't that Bunny's dog?
His name's not Tchotchke.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure it is, because she calls him Chotch.
Chachi.
Chaw, dang. I thought it was all this time I thought it was Tchotchke. I was like,
no,
I love it.
It's Chachi.
All right. Moving on. I was wrong. Don't get used to that. That no.
Audio clip that.
No. Because at no point was he right on anything. Antique ways. The Reeves house. I do remember talking about this one. On June 16th, 1959, 45-year-old George Reeves went into his upstairs bedroom, removed all his clothes, and shot himself in the head. Television's Superman died instantly, though some say his spirit was indestructible. Many later residents have encountered his ghost. One couple saw him materialize, fully outfitted in his Superman costume, and then fade slowly away. They moved out of the house that same night. Reeves' ghost has also been seen on the front lawn. There were accusations that Reeves was murdered by his girlfriend, but in 1961 his body was exhumed and cremated, which destroyed any evidence and ended the controversy.
Nice.
I'm not going to tell you. I get that, they moved out because it freaked them out, but how cool would that be? Be like, my house is haunted by freaking Superman. And he shows up in his Superman costume.
I mean, I'd be like, it's over, dude.
You're not Superman.
Hang it up.
But his spirit has found no kryptonite.
Hey, whatever.
Anyways, that was a little bit of my nerdness. First of all, speaking of, Maddie has started watching the Supergirl show on Netflix. Can we just talk about the fact that there's, I think her name might even, so there's I don't know. I've not been watching it. I don't care. I'm not a DC person. Mm-hmm. Somebody's name is Kara. Why is that name slipping me now?
Amara, come here.
Oh my God. It's right there because her last name is the same last name as Captain Marvel. And their costumes are similar. They're similar colors.
I mean,
what was Captain Marvel's last name?
I did an entire presentation on this in college where, why Marvel is better than DC.
So much better.
Well, also too, like DC did copy a lot of Marvel characters because
Danvers. Her name was Carol Danvers, and the character in Supergirl was Kara Danvers.
Yeah. But yeah.
Stupid.
Because Marvel was hugely successful, DC wanted to kind of, even though I think, if I'm not mistaken, DC is an older company.
That's fine.
That's fine. Detective Comics.
You know what Marvel has that DC will never have?
What?
Stan Lee.
That's true. But they did have his writing partner, who he kind of...
He ain't Stan Lee.
He kind of... what is it? Jack Kirby, I think.
That's like...
Stanley kind of screwed him over a little bit, though.
But
so
that's like saying... That's
Peace
like
out.
saying you had a mold of your boyfriend's hoo-ha made, and it's the next best thing. No, it's not. It's not the real thing.
I guess, but like...
I like how that's where my brain went.
Right. But I mean...
If I can't have the real thing...
He went to... I think he ended up coming back to Marvel, but...
Regardless.
Anyways.
Marvel's better.
This brain and all the random crap in it. I couldn't tell you what I had for breakfast, right? But I can tell you when it...
Okay, I got one more. And it is Charlene's Country Treasures in Bodega, California. This antique shop's troubles began when owner Charlene Weber acquired a 19th century doll made from the death mask of a real child. The hair, eyebrows, and lashes of the corpse had been removed and pasted onto the doll. Before long, customers started seeing the figure of a tall, bearded man built over the crib that held the doll. When a medium identified the spirit as Captain McEwen, the original owner, further research revealed that his brain-damaged child had been confined to a crib until her death.
Oh, I forgot about this. This was sad.
Yeah, it's a little sad. Death masks are a very interesting thing to me, though.
Yeah. Yeah,
and I'm honestly surprised that none of those have shown up in any of our cursed objects yet.
That is true. But I've been to the Alcatraz Museum in Pigeon Forge. If you ever get the opportunity, it's a little pricey, but it's so worth it because you're in there for hours. But they've got like a John Dillinger death mask, and even the CPR doll.
Yeah,
that was made from a death mask.
Oh,
yeah. Of an unknown Jane Doe.
Sorry to say Jane Doe.
Yeah. But I forget what they called her. Resuscita Annie is the... The doll, the CPR doll.
Yeah.
I'm sitting over here making like hand motions like anybody can see me.
And I was listening to her, but I wasn't paying attention to her gestures. I was playing with the cat. But.
Yeah. So, how a girl's death mask from the 1800s became the face of CPR dolls. She was a drowned woman. They don't elaborate. Okay. Hold on. Yeah, she was anonymous and she was about 16. Her body showed no signs of violence. Some people speculated that she had drowned herself intentionally. Her body was put on display in a mortuary in hopes that someone would identify her. But nobody identified her, and she became the unknown woman of the Seine. I don't know. Seine. It's French.
Scene. Yeah.
I feel seen.
You know why I know that?
Why?
In first grade.
Oh, shit.
We had to do like a presentation in front of the class on a country that we were given, and mine was France, and my mom's boss gave me a whole bunch of stuff, and I remember seeing that, and I remembered that it was the scene because it rhymed with green bean.
Oh.
And then I also got in a lot of trouble because I told my teacher my mom wasn't helping me with it and I was on my own. And my teacher called my mom, and my mom was very much so helping me with that. And, like, even so much that her boss was giving me things that she had gotten in France and, like, threatened that if any of them were messed up, that we were going to be in trouble. But there's that. I feel like I got a good little ass whooping for all that. No, I'm not going to go there. I was not abused as a child, but it was possibly with a hairbrush. Because when my mom found out, she was probably brushing my hair, and I got it. But any of y'all from the South know about them hairbrushes / flip-flops.
I was going to say in a flip-flop.
Or a fly swatter.
My,
fly swatters. My grandmother kept one on her dash of the car, and if we were acting up in the back seat, she just took the fly swatter and was like, blah, 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 in the back seat. It was awful.
I once had a neighbor who had, like, we were convinced that she had, like, a laser-guided flip-flop. Because she could throw that thing, and it doesn't... You could be the wind could take it, and it would still come back and whop you.
I feel like I've heard stories like that, all like from TJ and all of them. Like their Nana was the same way. There's pictures of their Nana with a flip-flop threatening the kids as adults. Like,
bless it,
Lord. But yeah, that's what I've got. I do have our non-profit for the week, which is a foundation called At the Crossroads. They work with people experiencing housing instability and poverty who are disconnected from the support that could make their lives healthier and more stable. They approach our clients without an agenda and without judgment, and focus on empowering each person to define their goals at their own pace. Their clients are some of the most resilient and remarkable people they've ever met, and they strive to help them build lives that they want. Basically what it says that they do is that they walk the streets of downtown San Francisco to reach individuals experiencing homelessness on their own turf, handing out basic necessities like food, socks, and hygiene supplies, and slowly building counseling relationships with them. They will also meet with clients one-on-one. They listen to the clients talk about anything that they want to talk about with no agenda, no judgment. Over time, they help clients identify goals, figure out who they want to be and how they want to become that person. And when their clients are ready and they want resources such as jobs and housing, education, healthcare, and mental health services, they partner with other organizations to meet the need. So I thought that was pretty cool because I'm fairly certain that in California state as a whole, the homeless population is quite extensive.
I mean, hell, it's getting like that here, but
yeah. I think that when we originally recorded this, we talked about the homeless area that was shut down, but not really shut down.
Tent City.
Yeah, over in West Nashville.
Yeah, because you had mentioned that there was a guy who was like...
He had built like a whole
little house.
Yes, he had like a whole little like shed, like house that like he had generators running electricity.
That seems like a fire hazard.
Well, I mean, yes, but like you're in a good for you for making what you will, like what you can. But honestly, boy, because I know who this guy is, I don't know him personally.
You know of him.
I know of him, and I know some of his family. You had family reach out for help, bro. They might have been at their breaking point with you.
Right, I was going to say, he probably maxed out his chances with them. But they were probably like, you know what?
Right, because they busted him because he was like peddling drugs like real bad.
Yeah.
Peddling. He's a peddler.
Well.
But that's what I got.
Okay.
It's 10:30.
Yeah, we gotta work tomorrow.
Yeah.
You gotta get up earlier than I do.
I gotta get back to
I work later than you do.
Right. I gotta get back to my children's. I didn't think I'd be gone as long as I have been.
Well.
But they fine.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I'm glad we gotta end on that.
All right, so share us out. Who we telling? Who did we tell?
Was this the week where I said tell your chiropractor?
I don't remember that ever being a thing.
Well, oh, yeah, I did, because I was like, my back hurts. Tell your chiropractor about us.
And if your chiropractor's in Middle Tennessee, tell him to reach out, because I'm in the market for a good one.
We'll shout him out on the podcast.
We'll shout him out, but and I might look into him. Because your girl needs it with the back hurting like it is.
Yeah, I could use a good cracking like a glow stick. Oh, yeah, because I talked about that lady I watch on YouTube. Because I was like, Dr. Brenda Mondragon, I love her. She's in Orlando, Florida. And if I ever get the opportunity to have this lady crack me like a glow stick and beat the shit out of me, I'm taking it. Because she also does, like, I don't think she classifies it as soft tissue work. I don't know what she does. But she, like...
There ain't nothing soft about it.
Oh, no. Because, like, have you seen her?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I love her.
Watch this be who we plug next week, actually.
Right. She'll be like, I do it.
Right. So just in case, let's tell... Don't tell your boss, because my boss found out she doesn't listen to an episode.
You can tell.
I mean, you can tell your boss. I don't care.
Yeah, tell your boss. Tell your boss. Don't tell our bosses.
Mine already heard it.
Mine already knows. She's listened to it. Both of them.
But if you don't have a boss and you are your own boss, share us out on your own personal Facebook page.
Yeah.
Ba-doom.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Do that. What?
You know that thing we do? Man, this was timing.
What?
You know that thing where we do where we talk about where we're at a race to see who could tell the other one a celebrity that's passed away not to rebel?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Who died?
Young and Restless star Andrea Evans.
Andrea Evans?
I don't know. Here's a picture. It popped up on my Twitter.
Oh, I think I know who that is.
But Young and Restless tweeted, "We are deeply saddened to hear about the passing of Andrea Evans. Her memory will live on in our hearts. Not that I'm excited that she passed away by any stretch of the imaginations. My prayers, thoughts, vibes, all that with her family and friends."
She died yesterday.
Oh, well, I'm just now seeing it. But
I always like the headline, like, Andrea Evans, star of One Life to Live and Young and the Restless, dead at 66.
It's not funny.
It's not funny, but it's the dramatic, like...
Well, what else is funny is the fact that we're like, oh, someone died, let me hurry up and text the other person to let them know. This all started with Betty White.
It did.
And I've yet to, like, really repay her. No, because I got you with Hagrid.
Yeah, you got me with Hagrid. There was somebody else you got me, too. And it wasn't that long ago. But I don't remember who.
Did I get you with Leslie Jordan?
No, I think I got you with Leslie Jordan.
Rude. See, now I owe you.
Because, like, as soon as it happened, I knew about it. I don't know how I knew about it, but I was probably sitting at work, scrolling through Facebook.
I don't remember who it was recently that I got you with.
I don't remember, but it was like, you called me and you were like, so-and-so died. And I was like, oh, man. I was like, she got me. I even told Danny, I was like, she got me.
We make silver linings out of the weirdest things.
Dark senses of humor.
We do. Look, we're sitting here talking about DC, and you got a DC book right here in front of me.
What? Oh, that's different. That's last podcast on the left.
Oh.
That's theirs. Plus, I'm not as much of a snob as I used to be.
I will take it to my grave that Marvel is for me.
Marvel is better, but...
You bought my son a Batman mask.
So that's because he likes Batman.
He just likes superheroes. He's too young to know. His favorite's still Black Panther. That's Marvel.
It was cheap, so he got Batman.
He's been wearing it around the house. And it sits outside his bedroom door when he's not wearing it, so that you are for sure that this is Batman's room.
Well.
Anyways. All right, guys.
So you got to follow us on Instagram.
Facebook.
TikTok.
Twitter. I was literally just on
email us.
Wanderers of Weird
at gmail.com. I should have done that live and in person at the party. Just said at gmail.com.
Right. What?
You know what's funny about that?
Nobody asked.
Didn't ask, buddy. Didn't ask.
In two ways. We did the share us out. Leave us reviews.
Yeah, leave us a review. Send us an email with your spooky stories.
Yes, let us.
Or comments about how shitty of a job we're doing or something. But don't hurt our feelings.
You can. It's fine.
I don't want my feelings hurt.
Don't read it then.
That's okay. I mostly just delete our emails that are just like junk emails. I don't read them. I leave the important ones for you.
I look at them before they get deleted because they come onto my phone.
I get them on my phone. Sometimes.
I was about to say something. Oh, Spotify allows you to leave us reviews on each episode. Tell us what you're thinking about the episode. Give us topic ideas. We did get a listener topic idea that is in the works.
Yep.
We'll let you know when we get there, but it is coming very soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, give us topic ideas. Share us out. Go follow us on all those pages and share all those pages to all your friends.
Yep.
Help us get out there.
I guess that's it. Bye.
Okay, bye.